Okay, so welcome to the broadcast. Very excited about today's guest. We have with us today Andrew Mancy, who's part owner of the Stubborn Brother Pizza Bar in Toledo, Ohio, which is an awesome pizzeria right in Toledo, Ohio. They've recently gotten a ton of press and news. So Andrew grew up in Toledo, Ohio. He worked in his family's restaurant businesses. They have fine dining establishments all throughout Ohio. And in 2018, the Stubborn Brother Pizzeria was actually opened up. And that's when Andrew started working with them. And they specialize in New York style pizza. They get high accolades for how good the pizza is. And to most people out in Ohio, they are absolutely considered the best pizza in Northwest Ohio. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Paul.
How we doing?
Appreciate you having me on, man.
No worries. I tell you, I love everything that I've been seeing on the internet and on the news with you guys. You come from a great family. I know your mom and dad and the family business. So just why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, how you ended up in the family business. I believe you're second generation, right?
Well, no, technically I am a third generation restaurateur. My family started restaurants in Toledo in 1921. So I'm a fourth generation restaurateur. I'm sorry. Yeah, the restaurants were started in 1921 by my great grandfather. And it's actually a really cool story, just the history of my family and the history of how we started in the restaurant industry in Toledo. So my grandfather immigrated from Greece and worked in the glass factories out of Toledo, also known as the Glass City. And he saved up enough money to open a small diner in Toledo called Mancy's Ideal. And for, I think it was 27 or 30 years after opening the restaurant, he stayed open 24/7 and sold steaks to all of the workers that would get off the assembly line all times of day, all times of night. And that's really how he became the premier place, the person in Toledo when you wanted to buy a steak. And from there, he passed it down to my grandfather. My grandfather ran the steakhouse for his time, and then he passed the restaurant down to my dad, his brothers and cousins. And they have since then expanded to five fine dining establishments in Toledo. Try saying that 5 times fast. Right. So now we have a steakhouse. We have Ideal. We have a fish house called Blue Water Grill. We have a barbecue restaurant called Shorty's Barbecue, and we have a Italian restaurant, which is Mancy's Italian. So all 5 of these restaurants, so my dad, his brothers, and cousins, they run and operate to this day. And in 2018, my dad brought a new idea of opening a pizzeria to his brothers, and they weren't really interested in running and opening a new restaurant at that particular time. So my dad decided to, go out and open Stubborn Brother Pizza Bar by himself, obviously with help from my mother and a lot of other people that helped us along the way. For the most part, it was just him, and he brought me on. After I graduated college, he brought me on right around the mid 2019, and I've been kind of working there ever since. So it's been
That's awesome.
been a fun experience.
It's a good story. So how many brothers are there actually in the family that your father's part of?
So yeah, there's 5 of them. There's 5 of the brothers that all own and operate the restaurants in Toledo. 2 are cousins, but they grew up together. They lived on the same street. They went to the same high school, same grade school, same college. So I consider them all brother. They're close enough. They've worked enough. They're basically all brothers at this point. So yeah.
So I'm guessing there has to be because your dad, John, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Was the only one who wanted to go into the pizza business, and I guess is that why they call him the Stubborn Brother? Is that name was actually screw you guys? I mean,
no, you got it right. You got it right. That's exactly it. So he originally wanted to call it Five Brothers Pizzeria, and run that angle with his brothers. But when that ended up happening, he decided that, I'm doing this myself. And someone, I can't remember who it was, called him, man, you're really stubborn about opening pizza. And he goes, you know what? That's the name. That's perfect. So Stubborn Brother became the name of the pizzeria. He was the only one of the brothers that decided to, go out and do this on his own. And, he got the blessing from the family and all that good stuff. So they're very happy that, with the job that I've been doing and we've been doing over there. So, yeah.
Very good. Yeah, that's a really good story. And I got to tell you, you don't see too many businesses where there's a fourth generation still in the business. In a lot of business worlds or business acumen, first generation, they're the hardworking generation.
Right. Yeah.
After the second, but I believe, and don't quote me on this, we'll have to do a fact check, after the show. But I believe it's 92% of third generation businesses fail. And I can't even imagine what it is on fourth. But you guys to be doing better than ever and expanding, which, is something that we're absolutely going to talk about. But just kind of diving into the family business just a little bit more. So you have the other restaurants, and there's a variety, right? Is it still the steakhouse, and you said fish house, and you have the pizzeria, and what are the other one or two? I mean, was it 4 or 5?
It was 5, yeah. So we have the steakhouse, the Ideal, which is a diner, kind of a reimagined diner. It's not the same location or the same restaurant that was originally opened, but it is, similar style, pays homage to, my great grandfather and my great grandma that opened and started running that restaurant. And then from there, we have a barbecue restaurant. It's called Shorty's True American Roadhouse. And that one, actually, my sister is currently running and managing, right now. So she is also taking part in the family business. And the fourth generation is starting to step up and take over for our aging parents, and started to take more responsibility and start running these restaurants. Moving on from there, we have the Italian restaurant, which really specializes in homemade pastas and that's those sort of dishes, very good soups, sandwiches. That one's Mancy's Italian. Yep, Mancy's Italian Grill.
It's kind of incredible because most people that have, 2, 3, 4, 5 restaurants, it's the same restaurant duplicated.
Right, yeah.
Extremely diverse, which is great. And by the way, I'm taking a little bit of offense to the aging parents comment because I got same age. And it's mom, so I'm not sure, listening right now.
I hope not. I hope not either.
But it's great. I've actually visited when originally I visited the Stubborn Brother Pizza Bar, and I don't think I've ever been to any of the other ones. And I met your parents at a trade show convention at some point.
Yeah,
and they came by and they were looking. They were interested in what we were selling at the time. And we just had such a great conversation. We hit it off. So I really enjoyed it. And on your website, there's a good story, our story. Everybody has a story of how the business started.
Right.
I mean, not to go too deep down the rabbit hole, but I thought it was a pretty cool story that they both went to the Ohio State.
There we go. Yes, sir. That's it.
Not from Ohio, like.
We have to specify what Ohio State we're talking about. So the Ohio State's very important.
Yeah, no, I know. So they met there, and I guess the love of food, and your mom is a Jersey girl, and she ended up staying, I guess, in Ohio, and I guess the rest is history.
Oh yeah, that is it right there. Yeah, so they lived out east for a little bit after they graduated, but eventually came back to run the restaurants with his brothers, and my dad did, and we've really always thoroughly enjoyed East Coast style pizza, that thin, fluffy, crisp style of pizza that you guys take for granted out in on the East Coast. We Toledoans aren't as blessed to have a variety of delicious pizza. So probably started around 2017, my father's vision of, opening a pizzeria in Toledo and, doing it correctly, making everything with our hands, making our dough ourselves, rolling the dough by hand tossing the pizza, not cooking it in a pan, right on the deck. And that kind of started the idea of opening a true New York style pizza and trying to make it as authentic and as accurate and close to that East Coast style that we, desire so much and love so much. So
I got to tell you, I've been there. The pizza's amazing. I've seen news clips, when you guys first opened up, that it was all over the news that you guys had
right, yeah,
critics go down. But most recently, I guess we can kind of talk about it. And I want to talk about you a little bit more,
sure, yeah,
because we've been getting into the quality of the pizza, you guys were just featured on One Bite, right? So
yes, sir.
Illinois just kind of came down and he was blown away. I mean, I think the exact words he used were,
What, something like holy shit?
yeah, that was definitely the word. Yeah. He said it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It blew his mind.
Yeah.
Because he said, you guys are on a college campus, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
not the Ohio State campus, though. It's a different campus, correct?
Yeah, right on the edge of the University of Toledo. So we're right in the center of the action.
Yeah, so Portnoy, and we're going to show a clip of the video of the piece, but Portnoy rated it, I believe, an 8 point. What did he give it? An
8.1. 8.1. Yeah.
8.1, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
What really freaked him out, and he just went over the edge of the incredibleness of it. Was it blew his mind because he said, hands down, this is the best college campus pizza. There's nobody that could beat it. It's absolutely incredible, and he went nuts over it. So,
Right.
And I know from talking to other pizzeria owners, what that does for business. But why don't you just kind of take us through that experience a little bit and tell us what it did for your business?
So I can confidently say that day when he came in was probably one of the best days of my life. Not necessarily just the One Bite review, but it seemed like I was on a roll that day. Everything was going to plan. Everything was coming together. And then all of a sudden, Dave walks through the front door and I almost get, blessed with, as I tell people, almost the God of my world, my small little pizza world that I live in. Like, he is kind of like a god to a lot of people that own and operate pizzerias, because he can make and break pizzerias anytime he wants. And I think he realized that at some point, that if he keeps on giving really bad scores to some of these local people, it can almost ruin their business. So he has to be careful what he says, but also he wants to reward the people that he believes is, has a really good product and does a really good job. So
from your comment about him being the god of pizza, than hit himself. He's going to really love that comment. My guess is he's going to steal that from our podcast and reproduce that as credibility that he's out of pizza.
I hope he does. Because it's coming from someone that praises the pizza gods. I'm going to have to put him up there with one of the gods of pizza for sure. Absolutely. So kind of from there, yeah. I was just going to say from there, when it comes to the score, the score isn't even what made me the most happy about what he said. It was the fact that he called us the best college campus pizza in the country. I think speaks almost volumes over the score that he gave me, whether it was an 8 or even a 7 or a 9 or whatever he could have given me. He called us the best college campus pizza, in the country. So that, to me,
beyond that, he said it was the best. And it's a quote: "It's the best college campus pizza I ever had. It is blowing my mind." And he called it a stunning, and he repeated that 100 times. Stunning development. And he just kept on chopping the pizza down. He was blown away, and he couldn't wait to go inside and see what the heck is going on in there.
Yeah,
it was quite a compliment.
Yeah, it was. No, it was an amazing compliment. And that's probably the most proud I've been in my business so far these past 4.5 years of working with my family and working with all these great people that I've met over the years to make really good pizza in Toledo. So,
podcast. Have you become an instant Toledo celebrity of sorts in the neighborhood?
I in the neighborhood, definitely. A few 3-4 weeks, a month after even the review was released, I've had people come up to me in bars and restaurants and walking around in the grocery store saying, "Hey, you're that guy that was on the Barstool Pizza review, right? Like, what's your name? You're Andrew Mancy, aren't you?" And obviously I say yes, and I'm one of the owners of Stubborn Brother, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw your pizza review. We're stopping in at Stubborn sometime this week. We can't wait to try your pizza." And I definitely don't want to call myself a celebrity because I'm not a celebrity. I don't really even want the celebrity or the fame. Like, I love people coming up to me and talking to me and talking to me about pizza because, talking about pizza gets me excited. It's exciting that other people care about pizza and care to, have really good pizza and experience good pizza. So it's been very exciting for me to have people come up and start talking to me about pizza and about dough and about toppings and, where do you get your toppings or how do you do this and how do you do that? It's been a very cool experience. A ton of people have reached out to me and our team about, just questions about how we do things. And for the most part, without giving away any of my secrets, I'm more than willing to help and talk about dough and pizza with just about anyone. So,
Oh, that's good. That's awesome. So one of the things that I thought was kind of cool is, when he was outside in amazement on that video clip, a few of your, I guess, customers, I don't know if they were regular customers, but it seemed like, just regular people off the street. And they come up and they're like, "Hey man, love you, yeah, et cetera, et cetera." And he's going, "Wow, this is amazing." He goes, "Yeah, bro, this stuff is the bomb," and whatever he said. And he started talking about your filtration system that you have
right.
inside,
Yeah,
and he didn't know about it. I obviously know about it, So, we appreciate, you gave accolades, to that system.
absolutely.
Before we pointed it out, you highlighted it. And I know once upon a time when you first installed it, you had, I think, and we could have a clip of that also. We can have a few things. I knew you were on network TV and they interviewed your mom and they did a whole bunch of stuff. But now, years later, to just get this type of notoriety, after the proof is in the pudding and it went. But why don't you just tell us a little bit about how that went, the importance of your ingredients, including, as it mentioned, the water, which I haven't mentioned. I'll let you kind of just speak about that, a little bit of the importance. Do you believe in it? The tagline, for the New York water maker system is it's all about the water. We know it's not all about the water. You have to know what you're doing, as a
Absolutely. Absolutely.
bad pizzerias in New York City, which we're off.
Right.
But to be able to do that in Ohio and get accolades from Barstool Sports as an awesome tasting best college pizza ever. But it's not just college pizza. I mean, it's amazing pizza, period.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, we'll take the time. But
Yeah, I'll take that title all day.
but just give us a little story about, even what he said on and or off camera and how you explained about, the importance of the water and, what a difference that makes in Toledo and why.
So I have to tell you, I did get in trouble for my water comment with some of the locals in Toledo. So I think I called a quote, "Toledo tap water is shit. It is similar to Flint tap water," which we all know the story of Flint, or maybe heard a bit about it a little bit. I want to use this podcast as a redemption for myself. Toledo tap water is fantastic. It is nothing like the way I explained it. I drink Toledo tap water every day. I had a glass before when I woke up this morning. I had a glass, before this podcast, and I'll have another glass before I go to bed tonight.
Backtracking.
I'm backtracking hard. There was some serious flack.
Municipality must have you on the payroll.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I want people to understand that Toledo tap water is fantastic. We get our tap water from Lake Erie and the Maumee. Great bodies of water. Nothing wrong with them. The one complaint I had.
Pizza. Let's talk about
Yeah, positive. All right, it's positive.
Get you out of the hot water.
Right. So, we've been using our water system, the New York water maker, for since we opened up, as you explained. You came and installed it. So, and we absolutely love the New York water system for a couple simple reasons. One, the most important reason is consistency. That water is extremely consistent, easy to use, easy to deal with. When it comes to water and pizza, a lot of things go into the way water is affected by yeast and flour. A lot of the good things about the New York water maker, it takes out harsh chemicals that are put in everyday tap water that we don't think about, like fluoride, chlorine. And in Toledo, we have something called mitocystine. It is an algae bloom that specifically affects us in the summertime. This is it's an algae, it's a bacteria that can affect the elasticity and kind of the stickiness of dough. So when you were to make pizza with our recipe with regular Toledo tap water, the dough becomes extremely sticky and it tears very easily. So when you're hand tossing and hand stretching pizza dough and your dough is stretching and tearing easily, it's obviously a huge issue. So the water we currently use comes from our New York water maker filtration system. It introduces vitamins and minerals that kind of represent or replicate the water that New Yorkers are blessed to, drink on a daily basis and make delicious pizza and bagels and all those awesome baked goods you guys got out there. So this really the water system gives us a consistent baseline to start, and it kind of takes out all the harshness and from water that you would get from the tap. So
Yes, that's awesome. I'm glad that's part of your story, part of your recipe, if you will, and I'm sure it's a secret family recipe with the pizza. But definitely, we hear a lot, that it does, have a lot to do with the consistency of the dough, and other people think, it's funny. Some parts of the country have no idea that New York water is ideal. They think I actually had somebody say New York water with a heavy Southern accent one time that goes New York water.
Yeah, right.
In the Hudson River, I don't know what New York water.
Right.
People recognizes, there could be cleaner water out there that, from the mountains of Maine or Colorado. But what New York water does have, it has the ideal characteristics for dough and pizza and bread and baking and,
Yeah.
I'm biased because, not only because of the New York water maker, but just because I'm a New York City kid or guy,
Right.
I know how delicious the water is, and you're right, we take it for granted. It's spoiled. I live in New Jersey now. Anytime I go back to my family's house, I'm filling up a 5-gallon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's awesome. And I'm just curious, did I know your customers knew about it because they were mentioning it outside. You kind of talked about it. Did Portnoy or anybody over there ask any questions about it? Did they say, "Hey, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that before," or was there any other conversation aside of what we saw on the camera about that?
So we talked a little bit more detail, a little bit. It was technically on camera, but a little bit off camera still. Just about basically what the New York water maker and different water or that water does for my pizza that I wouldn't be able to get from a tap water. So and really it kind of already went over what we would have talked about, but he just thought it was he thought it was interesting, the chemistry and, the, precise measurements that we have to use to kind of keep our pizza consistent. And that system helps us a lot to do that. And a lot of our other ingredients that we use are used for specific reasons to get the best possible product. So
Actually, I'm interested in pizza, by having this whole conversation.
right.
Sometimes, water is an ingredient, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these places like yourself, true pizza artisans, right? And I consider you guys artisans. You care
Thanks.
about it. It's not just, a lot of pizzerias out there, they use the cheapest cheese, the cheapest flour.
Right.
You're one of those establishments, and I'm sure it's reflected in all of your restaurants. The finest ingredients, gourmet ingredients, but, water is a huge part of the ingredients. Yeah, it's a huge ingredient in the recipe. And it's always nice for us to hear, when somebody recognizes that. And it's even nicer when people who use systems and put in the hard work and pay the extra money for the right ingredients and actually put a little TLC to care about, because most campuses, most pizzerias in general, but, certainly college campuses, they're like, hey, it's all about location, and it don't matter what you serve them. And there's some chains out there that, will remain nameless because I don't want to say I'm order that you are. Just being open at the right time and being in the right location. So it's always nice when there's a true artisan that gets the right recognition for the hard work and the investment that they put in, and time, care, love, money, the whole 9 yards. So with that said, I want to ask, kind of getting off from the water, your fourth generation, it was probably just ingrained into you if you have some advice for people that are in a family business, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, what's it like to work in a family business with your entire family? Because going back to our stats of, hey, it doesn't work out, most people don't go into business with their brother,
Right. Yeah.
and are successful, or their sister, or their wife, or their kids, or their family, because there's a lot of tension. So your whole family seems to be the opposite of that, those statistics. So what's it like being in a family business in your one location and then being part of this gigantic family business, for since 1921, which is just absolutely incredible. So just kind of talk about being in a family business, because most people don't have this type of love, harmony, and success.
I'll tell you what, every Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, you know, as much as the family doesn't want to talk about the business, it's always brought up. No matter what family event that you're at, or when everyone's together, there will be a conversation about, wine, beer, liquor, ingredients. I know my dad and his brothers go back and forth all day long about who has the best steaks at their restaurant. They all think they have the best steaks, which, they all do have great steaks, and I don't want to say which one has the best, but, they all argue about Iowa premium beef or California beef, or, wherever they decide to get their beef from, they all argue that. And, a lot of our families, the reasons why they work so well together is just how close everyone really is. And at the end of the day, we definitely fight, we definitely argue, we definitely disagree. And, but at the end of the day, I think this is really important. No matter how upset any of my dad or my uncles are at each other, when it's time for everyone to come together and get together and do a Christmas, or get together and deal with an issue that, this has possibly been plaguing the family, or anything along those lines, they dig in and they swallow their, maybe they swallow their egos, or, at the end of the day, they come together and, family's always first. They know they still love each other. They know that everyone loves them, and, they make it happen, they make it work, and they've been making it work for, 25, 30 years now as, partners and running the restaurants. So, I think the most important thing for them is, that they all understand that, no matter what happens, they still love each other. They're still brothers, they're still cousins, and, they can figure out any problems they have.
That's great. It's such an anomaly to most of the stories. If we use the 100 family businesses, 92 aren't in business anymore, and probably 50 don't talk to them anymore. So it's awesome when you hear a success story like that.
Right. Yeah.
I've dabbled with some family in some of my businesses, and now I have, my daughter works with me, in one of my companies, and I love it. It's just
Right. Yeah.
it's challenging days, but it's super rewarding, especially when the next generation is interested in doing what you do. It's flattering, in a certain sense, and it's just wonderful to be able to pass it on to the next generation, because the next generation normally doesn't want to hear it, because the younger people always think that they kind of know it all. And I've been saying it for a very long time. It's really the you hear all the movies and the stories of the Chinese people. They're the only ones that completely respect their elders and love passing down the wisdom, and they take it all. Versus most people here, including me, I hope did. So I think I know more than my parents. But the older you get, old folks like your parents and I, we you just, as you continue, you just know that you how much you don't know. The more the more you actually recognize that the things that you don't know. So anyway, great story on that side. So what else is one more question. So I know you guys have always been successful, and you had a great reputation in before Barstool Sports, did the review. But do you feel a sense of validation that, hey, we finally got recognized for all the hard work? And I mean, you know how good your pizza is.
Yeah.
Your pizza is. But now that it's out there and reviewed with the proclaimed one of the gods of the pizza. Do you feel that the stubborn brother and you and your pizza guy and your whole operation, you feel that, does your whole family feel that you've been validated, that somebody recognized the hard work that's going on, or you guys always felt that?
I think I, I I feel that I personally feel that we, have always made a great product. I was always a little hesitant on calling us the best pizza in Toledo or the best pizza in Northwest Ohio, just because, I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound, cocky at all. And but I truly believe that, and I truly believed it for a long time, just because I know the quality and the care and how the product comes out. And again, like, I'm very biased on this object because it is my, my pizzeria. But and at the end of the day, whether you believe you're the best at something, it always feels fantastic when you have someone, on the outside that has experience in this world and knows, what they're talking about to say. I agree with you. You guys are great, fantastic. So it was a huge, almost relief for us when, someone gave us kudos or someone gave us the recognition that I believe that we've worked very hard for, and that, it was huge validation for us. That we, all the hard work, all the money invested, all the time spent, pays off in the end when you do it the right way.
That's phenomenal. And on a personal note, you and your family, I know you guys are just great people, and it's always nice to, when you see really nice people, because not everybody's nice in the restaurant business.
But that's right.
But it's a tough business. So in my early career, before I started owning my own companies, I worked for a Fortune 500 company called Ecolab, and
Well, yeah.
half of our employee, well, everybody in the restaurant business knows Ecolab.
Yep, absolutely.
Ecolab people are ex-restaurant people because it was just too tough for them. They all went to Johnson and Wales. They went to start and went into their own restaurant business, and they couldn't do it. They just couldn't handle the call it the schedule, the stress, the hecticness, the hours, the time. So I have incredible respect for any restaurateur, that's out there, and to have family success since 1921 is a true testament to the work ethic and the family, and that you guys are always in a good mood and happy and just genuinely good people is awesome. So the Mancy family is great. Stubborn Brother, the pizzeria is great. Pizza bar. So, kudos to you guys. I love that you got all these accolades. Barstool Sports happened upon and gave you guys a great recommendation. So I think it's all awesome. So is there anything new on the horizon now, that expansion, future locations, or hey, you guys are just enjoying the success? Just just let everybody know where you guys are right now. Anything you want to kind of say or plug, for the businesses themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, for Stubborn Brother, we are expanding our dining room, which is a big step for us. We're looking at putting 70 new seats into our restaurant. We're expanding to our building next door that we've owned for a few years here. We're going to be knocking down the wall, expanding, opening up the dining room to, seat and house more people. We're going to use it specifically for catering. So we plan to do, large catered events up to 70 to about 100 people at these events, and, get wedding parties, funeral parties, graduation parties, and try to kind of focus more towards large parties, because we get a ton of people that, try to rent the restaurant out or try to have, 30, 40, 50 people in the restaurant, which is a lot of people to handle when you don't really have much space to seat people in the restaurant, generally speaking. So we're looking to expand our ability to serve more customers, which I know is going to help our business tremendously, because ever since that review has been released, we go on about a 45-minute to an hour wait for a table for people to sit down in the restaurant from. Sometimes it starts at noon and doesn't stop until about 10, 11 o'clock at night. So having that extra space will be able to better have the ability to better serve our community. So that's what we'll, and make more money. Yes, sir.
The profitability, so that's That's great. I mean, 70-seat expansion. I mean, that just sounds like a significant expansion, for a,
Yeah,
a pizzeria in a time in a place in the world, with COVID and everything else, everything shrinking and it's going down to takeout only to be expanding
right.
into 70 additional seats in a restaurant in a pizza bar is just phenomenal. Really is. So
Right.
congratulations
Yeah.
to you and to the Mancy family, everything that you guys are doing. And anything else you want to say before we?
Yeah. So we have another project that we're also working on currently. We have our one main issue that we're currently having with all the influx in business. And I've been telling people that my business has increased about 100 to 120% since the Portnoy pizza review was released. Um, so which is awesome. But one major problem that we're having is we are starting to run out of oven space on a consistent basis. So our pizza oven, we have the Rotoflex. Rotoflex is a pizza oven company out of Austin, Texas, I believe, somewhere in Texas. I believe it's Austin. And they make a very unique style of oven. It is a rotating disc oven. So there is 12 spots on this deck oven for pizzas to fit, and it rotates around the chimney, which siphons heat into the oven, and we're able to cook 12 pizzas at one time. Takes us about 7 minutes to make a pizza, or 7 minutes to cook a pizza. So with 12 pizzas in the oven cooking for 7 minutes, you only can do so much business. You're limited to your oven space. So as of right now, we are also expanding our kitchen into a secondary kitchen for carry out, the DoorDashes, Grubhubs, deliveries, and also help support our dining room. So we're going to have 2 Rotoflex ovens in our restaurant to try to keep up with the demand of pizza for carry-out business and for dining business. So
That's phenomenal. And just curious, did the takeout business explode equally to the dine-in business, or one was more because everybody had to go and see? I'm just curious of, you said 120% growth, in revenue or in volume is incredible. I'm curious if it's a 50-50 or is it, hey, more takeout, more come in. What
so
do you think?
they definitely both increased a crazy amount, but I would say we already had a very great loyal customer base that would dine in. So when it comes to the dine-in side, I saw a huge increase, but not nearly as much as the carry-out business that we started to obtain through our third-party delivery systems, through our own personal website, stubbornbrother.com, where you're able to order a pizza. Most weekend days, since this has happened, I have to turn off our carry-out and online orders at, I think we've been doing it at like 4 o'clock, because we have basically filled every single scheduled spot for pizza that we can predict we'll be able to handle through a Friday or through a Saturday evening. So
Incredible.
it's
Seems
been,
to be a okay.
no, it's just been a wild learning curve on, how to properly manipulate our system, because I've never really had to turn it off or turn it down on the fly, or only specifically allow a certain amount of pizzas to get ordered at certain hours of the day. So it's been a huge learning curve for myself and the team that we have, my managers that we have over at Stubborn, to kind of try to manage the level of business that we're getting. Because if we were to leave it wide open and try to accept every single order, we'd probably piss off more people than we would please. So no one wants to wait hour and a half, 2 hours for pizza.
Now, I tell you, an incredible, they call those champagne problems, right? When you have
Exactly.
great. That reminds me of, there used to be a pizzeria underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. It was Patsy's. And you used to only make a certain amount of pizza he was only open on, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You only made a certain amount of pizza, whether it was 50 a day or whatever it was. And there was a line around the block. It was cash only. And, people would be waiting, because it was that special thing. It was homemade, et cetera. But to see that, your family and you guys are enjoying that kind of success. And now I guess the next challenge is figuring out how to keep those influx and overflow of orders coming in, and how to be able to accept more and more and more until you can just satisfy it all. And how about what's the furthest geographical area that that has ordered pizza or that you'll actually service? Somebody ordered a pizza from, are they 10 miles away they're ordering, or you guys delivering to, even with DoorDash or third party, people, doing, 30 miles, 50 miles. I mean, what's the furthest you think that people are ordering the Southern Brother pizza?
So I've heard so we have a local delivery third party service. It's called Order on the Way, and they deliver our pizza out, to some of the suburbs that are further away from Toledo, some of the, Waterville, BG, White House, Oregon, that are about 30 minutes away from the restaurant. And we've been getting more and more of those orders as the weeks progress. So our reach when it comes to delivery is expanding. Our reach when it comes to people driving in. I had a family that was in the restaurant the other day, and they flagged me down and said, "Hey, we're in from Cleveland today," which is about a 2-hour drive. We're in from Cleveland. We've been wanting to come and try your pizza for a couple of weeks now, and we finally were able to get the whole family together. I think it was yesterday. It was MLK Day, and they came out, sat down, had our pizza, said how much they enjoyed their time and how it was awesome that I came up and talked to them, and how their experience was fantastic, and that they're going to go tell all their friends in Cleveland that it's worth a 2-hour drive to come, have my pizza, which is amazing. It's a blessing.
Becoming your destination.
I think so. Yeah, I think we're slowly becoming a Toledo destination, a spot that it's going to start climbing the list of things to do in Toledo, and going to just help my business be better and better.
So first it was Klinger from MASH, and now it's the Stubborn Brother Pizza. You're too young. You don't even know who Klinger from MASH is, right?
I don't. No, I do not.
Yeah, well, he was from Toledo, Ohio, and that was something.
Isn't that where the holy Toledo, isn't that where that came from, right?
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah, it's awesome.
So Andrew, appreciate everything, the time. Congratulations to you and the family, and wanting to tell our audience, if they want to find out information about Stubborn Brother, or you, contact you, or have any questions, how can they look you up and find things out?
Yeah, so the people that are currently listening and watching to this show, definitely a great space to find us is stubbornbrother.com. It has a ton of pictures, has a lot of our stories, a lot of our suppliers are on our website. There's a ton of great information that you can find. I mean, if you're curious on what some of our food looks like, and kind of what our environment of the restaurant and the bar looks like, Instagram and Facebook are regularly posted too. So you can find our Instagram and Facebook, just Stubborn Brother. I'm out there, and if anyone has any questions for me personally, I would love to respond to any emails or questions that anyone has. So Andrew@stubbornbrother.com is a good place to reach me. So yeah.
Awesome. And before we cut off or wrap up, what would if you don't mind, just repeat the names of the other family businesses while we're out here? I mean, they'll go to the Stubborn Brother Pizza Bar, but maybe another night or another day, might as well go to the Mancy family establishments.
So yeah, absolutely. If you look up Mancy, or I think it's just themancies.com, I believe. We have all of our restaurants listed with beautiful pictures. You can kind of read about some more of our history and detail of, how my family has been able to stay operating for such a long period of time in Toledo. Each one of the websites are linked to mancies.com, so you can find Shorty's, you can find the Blue Water, you can find the Mancy's Italian, you can find our steakhouse, and a lot of pictures and awesome work that my dad and his brothers have done for fine dining in Toledo.
Incredible stuff. In business for over 100 years, the Mancy family. So congratulations. Good luck. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Yep. Have a good one. Yep.
All right, Brett. With that, we're good. Right.